In this video, we're going to talk about calculating EP and AP using the yield percent formula. So you might want to calculate how much EP you can expect from a given AP, or you might want to calculate how much AP quantity you need. If you know how much EP quantity you need for a recipe, you might want to calculate how much to buy, so calculate your AP. If you purchase 15 pounds of pineapples, what EP weight of cubed pineapple can you expect? According to the Book of Yields, cubing pineapple gives a yield percent of 48.4%. So think about what goes where in the formula. So our problem description says the yield percent is 48.4%. So that goes in the yield percent. It says we purchased 15 pounds, so that goes in the AP. Once we've got things in our formula, we solve the formula the way we usually do. We take the two numbers that are diagonally across from each other, multiply them, and then we divide by whatever number is left over. So we haven't used the 100 yet, so we divide by 100. Do the math, so we do 15 times 48.4 divided by 100 on our calculator. We get 7.26 pounds EP. So this one says you have a recipe that requires 700 grams of cubed honeydew melon. How many AP pounds of melon will yield this EP weight? According to the Book of Yields, cubing honeydew melon gives a yield percent of 57.5%. So since the EP units are in grams and the AP are in pounds, first we've got to get them into the same units. So I'm choosing to take my EP grams and make them into EP pounds because I eventually want to calculate AP pounds. So I just did it using the method that you've learned all along. So one thing I want to note is I think you'll find it very helpful if you start labeling EP and AP whenever they show up. When you're working with yield percent and EP and AP, it's really easy to get confused about whether something is EP or AP. So starting right at when you read a problem, I would label each quantity that you see in the problem, and anytime you do a calculation, label EP and AP also so that you don't get mixed up. Okay, so we know now that you have 1.54 pounds EP of cubed honeydew melon. So now pause the video for a minute and do this problem. We want to know how many pounds AP of melon do you need to get our 1.54 pounds EP. So our problem says that we have a yield percent of 57.5%. So that goes in the yield percent. We know that our 1.54 pounds of melon is the EP, so that goes over in the EP. Then we solve our formula, multiply the two things on the diagonal, divide by the number that's left over, do the math, and we get 2.68 pounds AP. Remember, I'm labeling it as pounds AP so I don't forget. So with our yield percent formula, we can calculate yield percent if we know EP and AP. So that's what we did in another video. We can calculate EP if we know yield percent and AP. And we can calculate AP if we know EP and yield percent. So that one formula will let you calculate all of those things.